WTF Nation Radio
is in the house.
There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again. And then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the army of Ukraine, our army.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Broadcasting live from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence on this, ooh snap, on this 420. Yeah, baby. Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't have played that. Maybe I should hear it. I mean, hang on. Here we go. 420, the Monday edition. U.S. Army WTF Bubba's WTF Nation Radio on 2026 in the year of our 420. I guess you could say the year of our dumpster smoking fire or bong fire. I have to get hit to the game on this discussion of how to just talk about 214 encourage, of course. We would not at U.S. Army WTF Moments WTF Nation Radio suggest that you conduct any of these type of activities while on active duty. You want to get in trouble, right? You're on piss tests, and people are going to complain about how the I didn't. There's a thirsty elm tree out there. Yeah. Yeah, is that thirsty elm tree? Anyways, this is the Monday edition. Welcome. Hey, real quick, we had a real short notice scheduling of a guest. We have the Grunt Style Foundation coming up, joining us tonight, Will and Tim, and they're going to shoot the breeze with us about the executive order and psychedelics. So I'm looking forward to that, man, because that right there, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a long time coming. Veterans need this, and we'll walk the. Here I go. Here, I'm already sounding like One Punch Dead. We're gonna walk the dog in the process here, and who the freak, on the of the whole process of the executive order being signed. So it's a good win for veterans. Just a real quick note. I just had some of our friends from the U.S. Army. Okay, so I'm gonna say this right now. There are several fake pages that are out there that are sporting the U.S. Army WTF Moments handle. Some of them even have gone into the mimicry of posting the emblem we got, right? So we've made friends with individuals that that are going to assist us. And I'm just going to say, if you're posting some stuff in there to complain and all that stuff, and all of a sudden you get some of these weird admins that are not in our page, that's on you. So with that, I'm just gonna say that the friends that we've made in that from the United States Army Counterintelligence Command. Yeah. Posted a graphic today, since it is 420, and And like I said, we become good friends with them. So here it is. Just take a look. Places where you can legally consume marijuana and keep your clearance. Blam. None. Have a clearance? Below is a map showing where you can legally consume marijuana and keep your clearance. Under federal law, marijuana use is still prohibited for security clearance holders and applicants, even if you live in a state whereas legal federal governs the clearance process. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know. And everyone was like, oh, wow, that's cool, man. You know, hey, you know, legalize it. No. What happens to this? Hey, man, the clearance, we're talking about the clearance side of the house. So under federal law, marijuana use is still prohibited for security clearance holders and applicants. And if you live in a state where it is legal, federal law governs the clearance process. So there we go. That's the hit on that. So thank you. Shout out to the U.S. Army Counterintelligence Command for for posting that. And again, be very, they are psyoping the page. No, they're not, JD. What are you talking about? There is a case, though. There was a case where a major, and a matter of fact, I wonder if I got that in my notes. I just double check. There was a major who got busted for running a dispensary. Now, a huge fucking conflict on said major. Is what's the difference between selling it and distributing it as opposed to consuming it? And some good questions when we posted it on there. There were some individuals that were like really getting mad. You friggin' weed snorters and you're contributing. But if it's legal in the state, should you get in trouble? Should you be held under the same standard because it's legal in the state, right? And if you're a reservist, and here's another thing too, is that there's a lot of things that you see people do while in the reserves, and the Army or the military will say, no, you can't do that, because that's reserve. So like for instance, all the reservists that like to shitpost and scream First Amendment and stuff like that for all the stuff that they can shitpost about, right? Oh, okay, cool. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, so if someone says you're a seditionist or you're a, whatever for saying whatever, and you're in the reserves, and then of course everyone wants to slam them. Everyone wants to investigate, take rank, and all that. So what about just owning? What about just having a company? What about just having something as a the fake page got it. What's wrong with just owning a dispensary? I mean, if you're like the manager and you're owning it, but you're not consuming it, I'm just saying, why would you not want to? Why would you? I mean, why would you go after somebody? It seems like the reserve seems to hold a little bit of a different standard when it comes to certain things than the others. Hang on, let me grab this right here. Let me open up right here so you can see my face. There you go. Oh man, there you go. Well, I muted my face. So, anyways, reserve officer in fight with the Army for owning a marijuana dispensary. So, being involved with some sort of commercial enterprise in my state that maybe some find morally reprehensible is still legal in my state, even if I've done nothing wrong. So, are they correct? Do you think this major? Oh man, there we go. Do you think this is a no-go? In New York State, the legalized cannabis for adults who are at least 21 years old, still illegal for troops to possess, distribute, manufacture marijuana under Article 112 Alpha of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So why can't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? Yeah, I mean, just one of those conversations that, if you're able to shitpost as a reservist and you're not consuming the product, what about, I don't know, police officers or fire? Exactly that. Probably UCMJ. I don't know. I just think for some reason, if you're seeing some of these politicians that are out there shitposting and saying the most craziest shit, and then they show up to drill as a reservist, they're probably your commander or your CSM or your first sergeant or your platoon sergeant, and they're talking all this crap about stewards of the profession, standards, blah, blah, blah. And then they're selling, but they're shit posting on fucking social media. We get this a lot. U.S. Army WTO moments will post something, and then leaders, we say leaders because they're supposed to be a leader, their NCOs, soldiers' NCOs will get mad. First sergeants, CSMs, command, not really so much of commanders, but mostly the NCOs. They get mad about a soldier posting some shit. So we like, okay, who's your NCO? Who's your leader? Who's this? So-and-so and so-and-so. Then we go to their social media. And then we go, damn, dude. That's bad. the shit that they're posting is worse than what simple, just a simple post. I would say U.S. Army WTF moments has gotten a little tame back in the day. So, yeah, I'm just saying, hey man, if you're gonna get mad at your soldiers posting something on social media, just like the same thing at the reservist thing, you didn't get busted. You didn't. Yeah, you know what I mean? I know people are gonna be like, no, we don't know what you mean. No, I'm just saying that because if you're on reserve status and you've seen individuals completely go off and shitpost against the government, against the country, against elected officials, but they're on reserve status. We just had this in the past administration. We had this in the past administration where individuals were shitposting the current administration, and everyone was like, nope. But then this administration wants to go after people who are shitposting against this government. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm going to cause some drama. I'm sure Lieutenant Colonel Gabbard will be court-martialed by the next... Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then that you give the troops gummies. Agreed. Which is, like I said, the topic of discussion for tonight will be when the Grunt Style Foundation joins us. I can't wait. Shoot the breeze. But I'm just saying. She made some comments when she was... during the last administration about the Biden administration, and... everyone's like, yeah, whatever. She's in reserve status. She can say whatever. Everyone kept saying, if she says that, I think there was one time where she posted something in uniform where she was talking about the administration. And everyone kind of like, hey, what the fuck you doing? I think that's where everybody kind of united right there. Well, I mean, if you when you think about it, it's only unified. Again, troops getting political, and I'm talking about reservists getting political in uniform is bad. But when they're on their different status, they're on another, they're off duty. They're not on reserve. They're not drilling. You know what I mean? I've been saying, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not high. No, I'm not. No, I'm drinking coffee, by the way. So I gotta be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for the conversation. But yeah, happy 420, everybody. Yeah, exactly. For those who are partaking. So it goes back to, individuals are saying, with the morals and all that. And so it goes back to the story about the reserve guy. I don't think he should get in trouble. If he runs a dispensary and he's not consuming the product and it's legal in his state, okay, what's the difference? What then? Do you feel that major should be busted? Do you feel that the major is correct? Because when you look at the First Amendment and you see all the reservists that are off-duty shitposting against this administration and past reservists that have shitposted on the last administration, that's kind of like been like an outward, I mean, not really like I don't want to say hands-off, but it's been kind of like one of those, it's a different status. But I do agree, JD, that whatever next election, yeah, everyone's going to say it's probably going to be a Democrat. I don't know. We will see. Just for her actions as the DNI. Oh yeah, exactly. I think for anybody who has done anything in this administration, they're going to try to do anything and everything for a court martial. If they're reservists, you know what I mean? If they were in a military capacity and all that for what they've said. Holly says the Gwats should be able to go ahead with the shrooms. Well, I mean, that's why the Grunt Style Foundation is going to come on and talk to us in about, what time is it? Yeah, in about 30-ish minutes. They'll be able to join us. We can talk about this, the talk about the way it, talk about the timeline of how this went. But again, I just thought, leave the guy alone. It's like I said, it's just funny that when it comes to that's enforceable, but when it comes to First Amendment shit, you don't see. I mean, even active duty, you don't even get me started on active duty. You have soldiers that shit talk everything and everybody in uniform, and doing it on a Chinese app. Well, not I guess TikTok is sort of pseudo Chinese no more, anyways. But it's like a spokesperson for the service that was asked from the Army to task and purpose. When asked if the Army has a policy that addresses whether soldiers can own state marijuana dispensaries, Christopher Surridge, a spokesman for the service, provided task and purpose with the following statement. Any member of the U.S. Army who wrongfully uses, manufactures, or distributes marijuana could face action under the UCMJ with a court-martial proceeding for violating the UCMJ 912, Article 112 Alpha, wrongful use, possession, and so, again, I go back. The Army didn't have a social media policy until we came around, or other social media pages came around that started, and then all of a sudden now you can't shit post or you can't say anything for a little bit. Then it was like you can't do it in uniform. And then the uniform shit came around. And then the next thing you know is like, oh, well, yeah. Now they're doing it. I guarantee it. You see so many soldiers. The reason why everyone's asked how come we don't post soldiers doing the dick dance in uniform anymore, because nobody will do anything about it. No leader will come out and say, hey, I'm going to slam this soldier. I'm going to slam this. No one will comment. No one will say anything. Couldn't they just use an LLC? See, that's the thing. That's the thing, Holly. Don't forget CBD, yeah. So the major said that we were operating legally within the bounds of said New York. We did not cross federal lines in business. So I don't know how you could claim if it's only illegal for somebody who's in the Guard or Reserve, but it's not illegal for any other citizen. And that's the point. It's the different types of status, right? So he can't. See, that's the thing. So is he not going to work at the dispensary on his week in his drill times or his AT times? But you have individuals that are in uniform, that are reservists, that have said the most craziest fucking shit while they're wearing a uniform because nobody says anything about it. Again, we have active duty soldiers that have pretty much guys and gals that have posted their fucking thirst trap pics on TikTok or anything else. Nobody says shit. Nobody says shit. There will be no lead. We have yet seen an edict come down from any member of the divisions. Oh wait, we got 11 divisions, right? Now we got 11 divisions? 11th Airborne Division. I forgot about that. Did you guys hear about the bear attack that they had? Crazy shit. So anyways, we've not heard nothing. Unless it has thoroughly embarrassed the organization, nothing. All divisions. So when people get mad and say, oh, a specific social media influencer or news agencies attacking the troops, and then you see what the troops are doing, shaking that ass on fucking TikTok, opining in their hot takes about geopolitical stuff in uniform. I'm saying in uniform. There you go. Also, see, Colonel Scott Stevens got hemmed up for his comments, but he'd been doing that for years. Agreed. Yep. Madawaska, Maine, tuning it in. Hey, what's up? What's up, Dale? You need to look into his contract to see if his service member agreed to adjudication. See, that's the thing. He's one of several owners of the dispensary. And he's been an Army Reserve officer since 2009, but he's not a proselytizer nor an advocate. He was recently qualified for a cannabis license as a service-disabled veteran under New York law. See, that's another thing, too. But the states always... You notice that? You notice that You notice that? But then when it comes to the Second Amendment, oh, you got to follow the state. That's what the state said. The state said this. The state said that. Oh, okay. Just like the concealed carry issue that we've talked about, or the Sec War has put out about carrying weapons, concealed carry. Fed's got to change the law that says that it's, federal buildings you can't conceal carry. Explained that he has 60% disability rating for the VA for a service-connected back, neck, and hearing issues, and received the license as a settlement of a lawsuit. And he and other veterans barred against New York State. Since 2024, he has owned 51% of a dispensary in Times Square, but he's not the sole owner. See, that's the thing, too. He's not even the sole owner. The LLC topic that Holly was talking about. He does not have any role in hiring, firing, or inventory, or the shop's other day-to-day activities. So what gives? Why are you going after him? Meanwhile, I could pull up any image of a soldier dancing in there, showing them thirst traps, guy or gal again, or throwing the most hottest takes, and I could post them to, I could show you right now. And the Army's not saying anything about it. The soldiers, their geopolitical takes in uniform, no one's going to say shit about it. No one will say shit about it. What's up with that, Army? Actually, what's up with that DOW? You gonna let them? You gonna let them soldier shit post like that? So again, I'm just kind of wondering, like, woo, yeah. Let's see how this is gonna roll. So speaking of political drama, I mean, I know 420 kind of like got in the way a little bit because I was, Did you guys hear about the political drama? We've had another cabinet official has resigned from the cabinet. Chavez de Reamer, what's her name? Lori Chavez de Rima. Stepping down from her cabinet post amid series of misconduct allegations against her and her top staffers. Man, I'm about to say, I was pretty. Hang on for a second. I got my freaking mic drama here. I was gonna say, when TMZ announced that they were going to go onto the Hill and start reporting stuff about the news, about politicians and stuff like that. Why does it take TMZ to do that? So Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Rima, D-E-R-E-M-E-R, de Rima. I don't know, just like a Spanish-German thing. Lori Chavez de Rima, is stepping down from her cabinet, of course, against misconduct allegations against her and her top staffers. White House Communications Director Stephen Chung said that she will be taking a position in the private sector. Standard statement from the government. She's done a phenomenal job in her role by protecting American workers, enacting fair policy, and helping Americans gain additional skills to improve their lives. He said in a statement posted on social media, Chavez de Rima has been under scrutiny since January when the Department of Labor Inspector General Anthony Desposito opened an investigation and allegations she was involved in an extramarital affair with a member of her security detail and that she drank on the job and that top aides concocted official events to facilitate her personal travel plans. I'm about to say, you think these are coming out because do you think... Do you think these stories are coming out and people are resigning and dropping because TMZ said they're going to go? Because TMZ announced they're going to open up a DC office, which personally I think it's, at first I was kind of like a little bit like, hey dude, stay in your lane. But then I realized maybe I was a little too harsh on TMZ. Go TMZ. Maybe you should do a TMZ office for each of the services. TMZ Army, TMZ Air Force, Navy, Marine. Throw them all out. Maybe I just have a joint. Come on. Hey, yo, TMZ, hit the DMs. Yo, what's up? DMs open. I'm kind of curious how that would work. So in a statement during her tenure, she made significant progress in advancing President Trump's mission to bridge the gap between business and labor and always put the American worker first. We created new pathways to mortgage-paying jobs, prepared workers and excel in the age of AI, and took steps to lower prescription drug costs, promoted retirement security, and so much more. So the White House initially had stood by her and said they were false, and saying that the Labor Secretary was considering legal action against the person who made the claims of wrongdoing, which I think is like an IG report anyway, so I don't know, it's a whistleblower type of thing. So since then, 4 people have come placed on leave during the investigation that have left the department. So I got, again, just want to see what the drama is going to be. Again, I honestly think that was like a signal. That's a shot across the bow. Because TMZ is going to be in DC. Somebody said, somebody sent us the thing about the TMZ being in DC. Somebody asked us maybe that U.S. Army WTF Moments and TMZ should collaborate and join forces and be the Army side of TMZ Army, TMZ Navy. Hey, we got a U.S. Navy WTF Moment. Space Force too. We got just U.S. Space Force WTF Moments. Hit up TMZ. Say, hey, they paying. Did you hear that? I guarantee it. You know what? They're going to pay for tips. Supposedly, reportedly, and allegedly, up to $100,000 for tips for the tea up on the hill. I'm just kind of thinking, man, if they do that, Holly says no, you don't want us to join forces with TMZ. $100,000. 100,000 up to 100,000 allegedly, of course, and it's reported that up to $100,000 for tips. Yeah, exactly, just for the tip. Yeah, exactly, JD. Just the tip. I'm just thinking about that. Up to $100,000. If we were to sell tips to TMZ for TMZ Army, of course, I am just, yeah, exactly that, JD. Exactly. We could be rich, right, dude? TMZ Army. I would like half of the tips we would give to a charity. I think that's fair. The rest would be obviously because overhead of running the establishment. $100K for anything anyone wants sold. Yeah. Paid snitch. Ooh, Pip says paid snitching. You think you agree? I don't know, man. As soon as TMZ announced that they were going to open up a DC bureau, all of a sudden we're hearing all these scandals, all this stuff coming out. Can't wait for the first party. TMZ's probably going to be at the White House Correspondents' Dinner or something like that. Ooh, Lord, let me fan myself with my AER propaganda. Yeah, exactly. Make sure you donate to AER, supporting soldiers and their families since 1942. They do not pay us, so we are just assisting them in their advocacy. Starting up the NCOA, I'm gonna tell you what, man, that's still heartbreaking. JD, Non-Commissioned Officer Association. That right there should have stayed. The fact that it shut down, I'm just appalled. AUSA should have saved the NCOA. But I'm just thinking, just look at that. Yeah, I'd say about half proceeds of. I don't know. Snitches get bitches. E4s would make bank. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, think about that. TMZ Army, U.S. Army WTF Moments. We paid troops for the stuff like that. Yeah, just use the funds for the tips to fund the NCOA. Yeah, exactly that. We get about, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 messages, I don't know, every 4 or 5 hours or something like that. Yeah, the military, yeah, exactly. Put the snitch money in the AER. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would, again, there would be some costs, of course, that would be kept to run overhead and stuff like that, subscriptions. That's how you were able to hear a lot of our, lovely voices and my ugly face. On here, that would pay for subscriptions, pay for fees and stuff like that we got to pay to keep this thing running. And then the rest would go into AER. Yeah, AER, NCOA, not AUSA, little things like that. Help the ball. Hey, any unit out there that's having a formal or a function like that and they need money like that, the only thing would require is that you allow us to be guest speakers. So any of our admins or any of our podcast hosts could be a guest speaker to that. Bam, we'll pay for the kids to go to the ball. Yeah. I'm thinking that would be a good venture. So anyways, TMZ. TM's open. Could you imagine if that happened? Like, At that point, what would be exactly that? Sia Sims, the E9 Mafia would run me over in the parking lot. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, the Military Officers Association, is that what you're talking about? Military Officers, is that what the MOA stands for? JD, Military Officers Association. Yeah, I would have. I would have. Yeah. Yeah, exactly that, Ryan. Exactly that, Ryan. Oh, shit. So many things to narc on. Bass swingers clubs. Graft. You mean grift? Corruption? DTS? Hey, TMZ, here's a free tip. Tell these leaders to stop using cover sheets when we have IPSA. So many special forces guys would get stitched. Everybody would be stitching on everybody, Pip. Not just it would not be relegated to soft. Yeah, exactly. That agreed. That when a military organization that has been run for so freaking long, all of a sudden just goes out, you know, it literally just whimpered out. I mean, come on, that's oh man, it sucks. The TPS report, yeah. So again, I'm just saying, if there's any tips out there. I don't necessarily agree with the way TMZ does some stuff sometimes, but Josiah, what's going on? You just got back from Japan. Hey, well, how you doing, man? So you're what? You're back. You just got to say, oh, back in Conus instead of back in Bragg. So again, man, I'm just leave a familia alone. Exactly that. I would tell you. That is I would be a pretty liquor. I mean, we get tips every day. I could just imagine a phone call I would get if TMZ Army stood up. This information provided by U.S. Army WTF Moments, and all of a sudden I get my phone call. What I think it'd be hilarious. All right, so. What was the next thing we were going to discuss? Hang on, there was one more thing. I think there was one more. I wanted to hurry up and get the guys here. All right. Iran. Did you guys see the footage of Iran getting shot up? There was a boat getting a cruise ship, a cargo ship getting shot up. It was told it was navigating the Strait of Hormuz. It was told to stop, and it didn't stop. So the Navy went out and shot up the engine. Let me get this fit up here. It was supposedly it was a direct hit. Yeah. So this is from CENTCOM. Let me get the vid. Let me put this up right here so you guys can see the window cap. I mean, they told them that what was going to happen, and so there you go. Let me do a change there. Screen right there, and
Motor Vessel Tosca. Vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Okay, we gave the flare. Now we're getting
man, let's see that again.
Motor Vessel Tosca. Vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Okay, we gave the flare. Now we're getting
Now, reportedly, I guess it got set on fire or something like that. There's news out there where people were saying we set it on fire and stuff like that. I know we boarded it. Hang on, let me look at this right here. Or is that a different ship? Yeah, see, we're like seasoned ships. Yeah, the U.S. Spruance fired on the USS Spruance fired on the ship. The Marines boarded it as it tried to get past the blockade. Yeah, man. What was the Tuska? After the crew, this is from a CENTCOM said in a statement. After the Tuska's crew failed to comply and with repeated warnings. Over a 6-hour period, the Spruance directed the vessel to evacuate its engine room, which you saw earlier, and then that's when they decided to do the land. They assaulted it. Let me pull this up right here, so y'all can see it. Window cap this one too. Pew pew. Real quick footage right here. Pretty badass, man. Let me go back to that fast run. Fast ripping is fun. It is fun. So there you go. That's a status on that. The Marines depart U.S. amphibious Tripoli by helicopter to transit over the Arabian Sea, and this is per U.S. Central Command. To seize the Tuska. The Marines rappelled down on the Iranian flag vessel after a guided missile destroyer Spruance, USS Spruance, disabled the Tuska's propulsion when the commercial ship failed to comply with repeated warnings from U.S. forces over a 6-hour period. So there you go. Our oil now, exactly. They spent that. Oh my God, I know. You know what, John, right there. Right, great point right there. The spent shell casings, anything that has to do with the ship seizing in itself. Why TMZ never talked about Diddy's daddy being popped in Harlem back in the day? What? Whoa, Corey. Yeah, exact. Best thing about Iran is that the Air Force is keeping the A-10 longer. Yes, we just got that breaking news. The A-10 is going to stay a little bit longer. 11th Mew finally got some action. Yep. Patrick says, wouldn't it be more logical to have that message said by a linguist in their native tongue? Well, just like speaking in aviation speak, I think they have to have a linguistical understanding of English. Just like pilots when they fly international. Exactly. John brings up a good point. That spent shell is going to be the captain's going away present. So big time. So I think that was all I wanted to blab about before we got our guest coming on. Did you guys see this protest about the service member? Yeah. Former service members, former U.S. service members, not current U.S. service members. But then again, everything's so fucking discombobulated right now. You could probably protest in uniform in active duty and no one will give a fuck or no one will do anything to you. They occupied the U.S. Capitol. Presidents were holding, the protesters, they were protesting the president's Trump war on Iran. Yep. Yeah, I saw that. That's probably going to get rotated on there in case somebody. I'm saying we're just waiting for that one time. There's going to be that one active duty soldier that's going to pull it off and protest and everything, and no one's going to say anything about it. Ryan, language is their problem, not our Navy's. Yeah. That's a good question. That is a good question. Because I do know when pilots, everybody speaks English, right? That's That's a good question. English for ship things. How about that? Just use AI. Yeah, exactly. What if you say the wrong thing though? What if AI doesn't understand context? That is a good question. I don't know. I have some squabs. I have some shipmates. Yeah. I have I'm gonna have to talk to them and ask, hey, do you require? Why is it? That is a good question. English for ship. Well, I'm gonna say for ship operations. How about that? Because if you say, I'm just gonna Googleize it right quick. How about that for ship operations? Maritime phrases, maritime English. There's ship terminology. I guess does everybody have to learn English? Yeah. English for mariners, vocabulary for seafarers. These are just some of the things that I've Googled up. Nautical terms to navigate the turbulent seas. Maritime English. I speak like a, okay. I'm willing to guess that you're required to, I guess it's almost like pilots, like, airlines and stuff like that. Because I do know there was an Indian captain that was getting shot up, or an Indian flag ship that was getting shot up by Iranians, and they were responding in English. They were saying, you're shooting at us. So I did hear there was also some cruise ships that decided to say, fuck it, and Leroy Jenkins through the strait. So they used a flare and gave him 6 hours. Gary says they should have used their translator app running. Yeah, exactly. Just make pirate noises in the microphone. I'm sure they get the book. I mean, come on. I'm not much of a ship. I don't do ships. I've served alongside on my Navy counterparts, and I'm that's a whole nother world, man. That is a whole nother world. I tell people you don't understand the squid life. All pilots speak English unless they fly for Lufthansa. It's only a rule that a German won't follow. Ooh, man. Okay. Once we had to speak. What's that, Blue Falcon? Oh. Hey, Blue Falcon. Hey, listen to this later after we're done when we talk about TMZ and WTF moments, and then tell us what you think about tips for money for tips and collaboration. So yeah, exactly that. I don't know. I will say this, and talking to my shipmates, they tell me specific like drills and procedures that they have to do to save the ship, that I know for a fact that the Army would be there. I know I would say some soldiers was like, fuck that. Just imagine. I don't know. Is there an Army equivalent to like a ship going down or something like that? What do you got to do to save a compartment or whatever? They'll lock your ass in there if the ship's going down. You better get out of there. Save the ship. Yada, 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 right? Could you imagine if you told a soldier you got to save the equipment? He's going to lock you in this. You're going to save our soldiers will be like, fuck you. Soldiers will be like, I'm out of here. I don't know how that's real. To me, that's just more. That's a little bit more discipline than I can imagine. To just think about it, you got to get locked into a compartment to save the ship, to make sure that the ship's bam, water's filling up. There's a fire going on. You got to close the compartment. You got to close that hatch, and then you're in there. Better get out, right? Hey, shit happens, But then if you do it in the Army, hey, you got to stay in that tent while it's burning or whatever. Soldiers will be like, screw you. Be a tanker, death before dismount. Yeah, yeah, you're right. We do have ships. Yeah, Shadow. Good point, Shadow. Good point. Shadow says you just can't get out of there if you have a duty to stay, specifically if you're at a critical component of the ship. I would say, like I said, man, that's some good discipline, man. It's called the Command Climate Survey Shredder. That's the equivalent of saving a ship in the Army. Oh my God. Yeah, we are overthinking. What? I don't know if you guys, there was a Rosetta Stone commercial or a Babelfish commercial back in the day where there was a German Coast Guard and you hear, we are sinking, and a German Coast Guard, this is the German Coast Guard, what are you thinking about, Every time I hear about that, that's the joke that runs to mind. But yeah, nah, screw that. Could you imagine? You're being told as a soldier, you have to stay here. You have to stay here, and we're going to shut the door behind you while everything collapses on you. Navy, man. That's man, when they do battle stations and shit like that. Nope. That's nope. I mean, it takes a special service person, serviceman, servicewoman, sailor, squab, marine to do some of that stuff. Man, no way. Let's see, what time is it? Oh man, we got 4 or 5 minutes out. All right, so I'm gonna take a break while I get the guests set up. And then once we get them set up, we're going to talk about it. Lots to talk about. I mean, I apologize for all the ramblings, but I'm kind of geeked out. This is a short notice guest with me and the crew over at the Grunt Style Foundation. So I'm looking forward to talk about this executive order that has come out about psychedelics and stuff like that. So everyone stay tuned, and we'll be right back. So shots or... 420 puff passed, I guess. DD-214, of course. And you're not a government employee. And you don't hold a clearance. I got to make all these disclaimers. Back. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private tensions far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Stuck in the mud so deep, and then that rain, no time for sleep. Emerged straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army double the force, the madness we know. Humvee stuck in the mud so deep. A midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerged straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army double the force, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wildlings roam. Every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army double the force, it never will change. So raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army double the force every single day.
candle, not a big fireplace. It's a girl with blonde hair and tears down her face. It's a lack of emotion, but the devil's so warm, with a sense of elation and souls being torn. Thought she was the problem, but I came to find that the thorns and the horns had always been mine.
Thankfully, I was supposed to go pick up my daughter, and I texted someone, I was like, hey, can you go, because there's no way my Miata's gonna make it.
In you and the devil in me are just part of the problem, as problems tend to be. You don't need to explain, we can both feel the pain. It's alright to lose faith, just don't lose this embrace, this devil in me. This devil in me. He met with my mother, said he's a son of a gun, and anybody who knows him is destined to run. Plays the blues like he owns it, and breaks hearts like it's fun. But a lock is away when he's found the one, and he's cursed to the psycho, but he won't know he's there, since I won't let him die until his moment of despair. Oh, it's alright to lose faith, just don't lose this embrace, this devil in me. This devil in me. Sorry that I can't keep it together. Maybe it's the trauma, or maybe it's the drugs. I can't seem to control my fucking temper, but the problem lies in not being enough. I lost my sense of humor in the battle for my mind. Now I'll slip away with one last puff this time. Substance suicide, assisted by my fickle friend. I'll finally lose my mind. Substance suicide, only time with no regrets is letting myself die. Forgive me for the outburst with your neighbors. My actions don't reflect protect what's in my soul. I never found the right way to relate or take in and display a better role. The chemicals that shape me are buried deep this time. My family's already given up, it's fine. Substance suicide, assisted by my fickle friend, I'll finally lose my mind. Substance suicide, the only time with no regrets, letting myself die. Substance suicide, assisted by my fickle friend, I'll finally lose my life. The substance suicide, the only time with no regrets is letting myself die. Is letting myself die.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Back. Holy crap, we got a crowd. What is going on, guys? This is the crew over at the Grunt Style Foundation. Tim Jensen, Will Wisner, and of course Janae Sergio. Janae just keeps coming back. You might as well just put in an application. How you doing, girl? How y'all doing?
I know. I like to just pop in whenever you'll allow me, or even when you don't.
Welcome, guys. Hey, I know, like I was telling the audience earlier, this is a real quick, it was more like an impromptu a setup to do, because we got some big news, and I wanted you guys to come on to talk about what's going on. What do we, what's been happening, and we just had a big break over the weekend. So any of you guys want to go ahead and jump in, send it.
Well, I think the best way of framing it up is, we've all been talking about it, Ken, for many years.
Yeah.
Veteran suicide within our community. We've been doing all the push-ups. We've been doing all of the awareness and all the things as a community. But the numbers have not been going down, right? We see year after year the VA's National Suicide Report come out, and it's 6,500 every year, every year, right? And and gobs and gobs of money is being spent, like to the tune of like $500 million a year. If we were to roll that back, 10 years, right? You're talking about $1 billion or a couple $1 billion there in terms of, the spend. So like, what are we doing? In the Grunt Style Foundation, listen, like we started as a t-shirt company. We've been doing advocacy for a long time, responding to national emergency events like hurricanes and things like that over the years. So it was only natural for us that we opened the foundation. But where we are today in advocating for veteran mental health and standing in the arena for this suicide battle, I think we are doing things that are a little bit let's say unconventional.
For sure.
And I think the way that we are stacking up the victories is a bit unique in itself. But I can't say that all this would be done by just the sheer will and power of a couple three people and trying to move an idea. Of course, this was years of collaborating with other organizations, great people along the way to understand, hey, there's a problem. We got suicide. We're all there. We all understand this, but now getting to a point of action and really moving the needle. I think that's the part that over the last 4 years, it seems like there's been monumental success. And, from many, many groups around the country that are involved in this conversation, from the psychedelics to the overprescribing, it's there's a lot of people involved.
I mean, bro, I think you and I, since we've known each other from the get, how did this finally get up to the national platform already?
Well, I think it's a culmination of a lot of different things, right? You've got an administration that is, very favorable to putting up victories and bucking the status quo. You have for example, the Health and Human Services and the department that Robert Kennedy is running right now under the MAHA beliefs. There is systemic changes happening within that organization. That's opened the door for conversations like overprescribing and the relationships of big pharmacy and institutions within the federal government. So we're getting at these new conversations that are happening because of actions and opportunities that are showing themselves at the government level. And then, you've got, different actions that are happening at the state level that are having to be engaged with, that are taking, different types of resources as well. So, for example, right, as we're talking about the victories of psychedelics, there's a whole nother conversation that's happening at the state level of, cannabis and hemp being attacked. And CBD potentially being taken away from millions of veterans across in several states across the country. So there's puts and takes. There's lots of conversations, but what I'm super excited about is the conversation now is shifted into this much different paradigm of a container that is like, okay, we gave big pharma, we gave these pharmaceuticals a try. And, in fact, they're just killing us in larger numbers. So we've got to try something different. And I think that's where we are at right now. And there's just too many families, too many people that have been impacted by this. And it's not just the veteran community. We just happen to be the canary in the coal mine.
Right. I think also the fact that we're looking at it more, I don't want to say more, more surgical, more professional. It's not a, hey man, you want to go get, hey man, let's go, man. I'm gonna go roll it up. That's it's more so of the healing method as opposed to removing the stigma away from it. When there's veterans that actually have said, if I didn't have THC, TBD, or CBN, I would still be suffering with nerve damage. I would still be suffering with some of my musculoskeletal issues.
I have an autoimmune issue. So does Will, right? And I'm sure several of the listeners and people that are watching this do as well. I use CBD products for the rheumatoid arthritis in my hands. My hands get so painful I can barely it's like squeeze them together. And I use CBD. I was turned on to that about 2 years ago, and it helps immediately. So that's all about to go away here in Texas. We just got an amendment to stay it for a little bit longer, but the inevitable is on the way because the alcohol industry in the state of Texas doesn't want CBD to compete with.
That's another thing too. It's almost how individuals like to stigmatize the use of when they don't even want to address I don't want to argue between different types of substances, but it's facts. I've never seen somebody who is under the influence of these types of products get in a fight or have the asshole issues like you do with alcohol, So I'm just surprised that Texas, of all places, specifically with their, hey, we're here for veterans and we're here to help out. And I'm surprised you've not been run over in the parking lot somewhere because somebody saw you, didn't like you advocating. You're right. It's tough because, I'll say it. Anheuser-Busch, for instance, or name your favorite booze that wants to not, or is one of the big, how do I say, backdoor payers of legislation to stop it, and it's just frustrating to see.
Yeah.
Well, you said you said in your statement that you mentioned the VFW in this, and so I don't want to steal your thunder, but what was some of the things that the VFW did to help you guys out as well?
I'm sorry, was that to me?
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
Will.
Sorry, man.
Hey,
420, man.
I was about to say, man.
We'll got started with 420 right now.
It's like right now we have somebody who is blitzed out of his mind.
He's like, where are we again?
What was that?
Yeah, no, look, man. Here's the deal with the VFW guys. So they bring so much credibility to the conversation. Just the fact that they're partnered on this and are vocal about this, and that they have made this a national priority. That right there is so much of the game when it comes into lobbying or advocating or begging and pleading or whatever with the government. In any veteran issue, there aren't lobbyists that are running around out there on our behalf. We are pretty much tethered. Our fates are intertwined between the individual veteran and all of the big six VSOs, these especially ones that are chartered by Congress. They have special privileges in gaining audience with Congress to present and represent our interests. And that's all we have. So getting any of these groups to sign off on anything or agree to put their name behind it is always a giant political hot potato. And it's very hard to get them involved. But once you catch one of the big six VSOs, typically you'll start to dogpile the others. And so just having them involved in a partnership from the beginning kind of gives that okay for other people to join that conversation or even just take the time to be educated. Whereas, when we were dealing with the PACT Act, Rosie Torres and I were running around for years just trying to get the VSOs to acknowledge that this was something worth engaging. And, they kept saying and going back to that's why we need to build this systemic momentum to get this out in front of the public's consciousness. So that would give cover and concealment for the politicians to actually do their job. And it gives the same kind of cover and concealment, just in a little bit of a different way, to the VSOs to go before their constituents and champion these things. So absent the VFW, this 4-year fight would have been probably an 8 to 10 year fight, but my estimation. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
It was really powerful too at the joint sessions hearing where VFW Commander in Chief Carol Whitmore did a display where she had everyone who had been impacted by veteran suicide stand up, and most of the room stood up to include some of the auxiliary members, and had us kind of stand there. When we sat back down, she then spoke to the overprescribing of our veterans, and it was really powerful. It was a powerful moment to see her there representing all of us. In the room, by the way, was filled to the brim, and there was people actually who had to stand out in the hall because there were so many people that were there to watch her testimony. It was a really powerful moment.
Well, that was the prescription for change that we did, event that we did last year that we did in DC. That was, I think, if I'd made it, I'd have had my bag of prescriptions as well, because I was just thinking is how could you, how do I say this? I don't want to piss off some of the. Oh no, fuck it. I'll just say it. It's just like the overprescription of medication. There are some of the guys that are advocating for it are in the same room that are going against us, and I just wanted to know, did anybody there kind of like, hey, I changed my mind. This is the way I feel. I'm glad you guys came to talk about us. Was there any? I mean, from any of you three guys can answer. Was there any of that, any of that pushback or change, I should say, a change of heart?
I think one of the things you're talking to is the War Cry for Change Summit that we did in June of last year, where we held a press conference at the House Triangle, and then we held a roundtable inside of the Capitol. And we had, I believe, 6 sitting congressmen. We also had HHS there. This has been a recurring response, and Tim and Will can kind of, jump in on it as well. The recurring response is, I would not have even thought of that. I would not have thought of that. It's once we educate them and we give them the information, the data, we have the experts come in and explain it. And there's a documentary called, oh my gosh, help me, Will.
Medicating Normal.
Medicating Normal. I don't know why I almost lost my train of thought there. Medicating Normal, which is super powerful. And we showed that at the War Cry for Change Summit in June. And we show it whenever we do our emergency briefings or any of those. And every time we get the same response of, I would not have thought it was the pills. And we've heard legislators say that in last year, after the second veteran took his life at Audie Murphy, Ricky Ramos, we did an emergency briefing here in San Antonio. We brought 50 community leaders together so that we could educate them on this crisis. And most of them were thinking of different solutions to address the suicide epidemic that we have here in San Antonio. And once we brought them all in the same room, it was just the same response. I would have never thought it was a pills. I would have never thought it was a pills. And so it's just, and Will was actually in with the executive director of the Audie Murphy VA. He could probably give you a little more of a background on how that went. But it's, a lot of people are just not aware. We have to continue to educate them.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, a lot of it too is, you know how DC is. I mean,
there's also the people that just are straight up butt off. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I was about ready to say. You just finished my fucking sentence because I just said it is DC. You know what I mean?
We put out a press release last year. When 20 of these cocksuckers went out and said, we support. There's nothing with these medications that are killing people. Like, what kind of crack are you people smoking?
Right.
And then you look at who they do all their work with. And it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Their donors are the big pharma people.
Yeah, and then you hear FDA recalls about specific medication that's being issued out. That is issued out as well as prescribed to veterans for heart, liver issues and stuff like that. You're like, hey, sorry. I mean, it's a recall.
That's the story. That's the story here. It's like once you get on, insert SSRI, right? And you're on this thing for 3 years, right? You're not supposed to be because you're only supposed to be on it for no more than 6 weeks. But you're on your 3rd year, and by your time you're on your 3rd year, your dick stops working, right? And then you're like, man, my dick stopped working. What am I supposed to do? Right. And then you're figuring out all the other things and you're like, oh man, so you're going through this list and then you're pumping yourself through all these other these meds. And the next thing you know, you're on 8 different things for the SSRI that made your dick stop working.
A lot of it too is that I think it's because you have veterans. I've had 3 providers been changed on me as a veteran. 3. And it seems like every freaking time I talk to a new one, well, I have like a script ready to go. Okay, why do you have traumatic brain injury? Because of blah, 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 blah. Why do you have this? Oh, because of that. Why is one leg more crooked than the other? Because this would happen, this. Why do you have no discs in your back? Well, because, and I just like, to me, it's like, I feel the same way when we talk to veterans inside the inbox that are having a bad moment, that are having a bad time. I mean, legit. And we reach out to the law enforcement and we say, hey, look, guys, if you're going to go out there, here's what the situation is. Here's what's going on with this guy. The VA, instead of just like, I would say just prescription, he was prescribed, like you said, name blank SSRI, and they issued him another one without weaning him off the other. And it's caused so much, it changed his chemistry where we had this guy talking to us before in the inbox, and the next thing you know, it's like a demonic possession. You're like, dude, what the are you all right, man? Hey, what's going on? And then here's what happened, and here's this, and I'm like, all right, let's walk this through. And we try to get that aspect of it, and because too many times, aside from soldiers, veterans taking their lives, I hate seeing law enforcement taking lives of veterans because the law enforcement doesn't know what's going on. Like, they don't have a background. And of course, you know, I support my Leo friends, but they don't know what's going on when they're rolling up into position. There's a guy losing his shit.
This past Sunday, was the 3rd anniversary of my best friend Paul Kludek, who took his life. He was a corporal in the Marine Corps. Went to Iraq with the guy. Was a stellar Marine. Was a small business owner in the city of Chicago. Did very well for himself. Had a couple businesses. And, never was short on cash, and always was helping other people. Had a smoking addiction and wanted to go to quit. So where do we go? Right, the VA markets to the veteran community. Come to the VA. We'll get you on a smoking cessation. Right. Next thing you know, he walks out with some Wellbutrin, and within 4 months, he blows himself in the face with a shotgun and kills himself right in front of his family. Like, that is the story that we're talking about. That's not a one-off, right? Because right after that happened, there were 4 other families that reached out to us that exactly the same thing happened to them. Wellbutrin, they go. These Marines go to the VA, get Wellbutrin, and the next thing you know, they're killing themselves. So these are not anecdotal. These are a pattern of stories, a pattern of behavior that's happening due to these overprescribing circumstances that are just wrecking havoc. And again, like, the veterans are just the canary in the coal mine here, right? Because if you really were to extrapolate the data and look at how this is affecting the civilian population, and specifically women of this country, you will see very quickly that the women of this country are over medicated on these SSRIs at a rate that is not constant to the male counterparts. And that is consistent, with a strategy that was put in place in the late 60s. And there were songs written about it by the Rolling Stones and many others that talk about these things. So, we have a pattern in this country of masking pain that leads us down a path of destruction. And there's better ways, right? Psychedelics, that's what I'm for, but there are plenty of other ways that you can, reduce these pain symptoms and inflammation and all the other things.
Oh, we got a floof alert. No, it was that conversation that you and I had, Tim, about them wanting to prescribe me trazodone for lack of sleep. And I'm like, I want to figure out why I can't fucking sleep. I don't want to be issued. I don't want to be prescribed something that makes you go to sleep as a side effect. I want to be fucking fixed. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why I can't completely lay down and then all of a sudden I'm waking up every 5-10 minutes or something like that. Well, that whole, that's a whole nother freaking, trail we can go down again. But I just couldn't believe their first fucking thing. Oh yeah, we'll just give you some trazodone, you'll be all right. And then it's an antidepressant, but the side effect is it'll help you go to sleep.
Yeah, I woke up 99 miles away from my house of trazodone.
Right. I was about to say.
I took it not at the right time, right? And I blacked out and woke up 100 miles away from my house. Tell me that's not crazy.
Right. Well, I'm saying that conversation that you and I had when you were talking about that, and I was like, man, fuck that. I don't want to. You know what I mean? It almost scares you. It now confuses the veteran, who's already vulnerable in some cases, of what's going to be prescribed or not prescribed. And then you hear about situations that we talk about with treatment of CBD, THC, and CBN, and name your products, alternative methods. And it's almost like we have, I don't know, it's like we have that stray, static out there that's scaring us. Don't be a weed snorter. Did you know it causes, paranoia? It causes friggin' dementia, and it causes this, and you'll be an idiot if you do this. I'm like, dude, who is going to be the arbiter of the actual tests and stats aside from when is the government going to be able to grasp this? And hopefully this executive order we're going to talk about in a minute. Who's going to be the point man? Who's going to be like the secretary of, I don't know, psychedelics, or secretary of, who's going to be the main point of contact that we look at?
I nominate Tim Jensen and Will Wisner as the secretary of psychedelics.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is because we always have like a point man, right? Well, who's responsible, or who's this? So that way, when they get in front of Congress, they're like, you're in charge of this, now fix this shit. And then a year or so down the road, hey, we gave you the opportunity to fix this. It's just fucking. I mean, that was just my frustration, guys. You know, me and Tim talk a lot. We rant. Sometimes when somebody says, "Hey, do you want to talk to Ken?" Tim's got to schedule his timeline with me because I could ramble, and so and I love to talk. And so, tell me about there was this one group that I saw, the Veterans Mental Health and Leadership Coalition. I've never heard of these guys.
Yeah, so it's an incredible group that I came across many years ago when we first started on this path of psychedelics. Will and I, were engaging in a lot of different conversations in 2022-ish, 2022, and a lot of those came, they were weird conversations. Like we're like I didn't know what we were to expect stepping into the psychedelic space.
For real, yeah.
It was strange and like a lot of woo woo shit. So it's like what do I'm trying to make up and understand this.
Exactly.
Like, who are the legit people and who are these fucking freaks over here?
Exactly. And why are they wearing tie-dye shirts?
Right. Oh,
hey man.
So so we started going down this path, and the next thing we know that we're engaging in these conversations of psychedelics and these big groups and all these I'm talking to Jesse Gould of Heroic Hearts, and I'm like, hey man, like I just had this experience, like blah 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 blah, and I'm trying to figure out my own stuff, and Will's having his own conversations, and we're all just kind of converging onto this point. And it led to these great spots. I'm going to hand it over to Will to pick up on that conversation of like it's interesting of how like you're moving in tandem in the space, and it's really hard to explain because this is just there's a lot of complicated parts and pieces to what's happening in this conversation.
Yeah, so I guess the main point I'm trying to cover down here is what specifically are you looking for? Is it help me get to the root? What are we steering towards, Tim?
Will's been smoking a lot of weed.
I'm going to say this is definitely a 420 show.
No, I had it up until we diverged a little bit.
Well,
I mean, I'm
just talking about the Veterans Mental Health and Leadership Coalition.
So the
Will I went out to the psychedelic.
okay. I was starting to try to explain how the psychedelic space is. Like, I'm not sure where I'm going.
So as we're getting into this space, I'll pick it up. All right. So as we're getting into this space, right, we're coming across all these fantastic people and these organizations that are facilitating and sending groups outside of the country. And I came across this gentleman by the name of Adam Marr. And he was leading a small group of people and pulling together more and more that were leading a conversation around psychedelics in the veteran space. And there was a couple of these small little groups that were happening at that time. And we kind of all landed at one moment in Kentucky. And that's where the first conversation of ibogaine was really starting to happen at the national level, and that's where Brian Hubbard was working with the state of Kentucky at that time under the governor through the governor's program, and working with vets and the Veteran Mental Health Leadership Coalition. They were bringing forward this plan inside the state of Kentucky to facilitate ibogaine as a facilitated means of mental health alternatives to the opioids, which found its root in the state of Kentucky, which is a totally unrelated, a different story that I would love to share with you sometime, because it will blow your mind at the corruption that the opioid industry had brought into Eastern Kentucky and proliferated into the coal mining families of that area and just destroyed everything there.
Brother, we have time to talk. Go ahead.
It's a story that will take us in a different direction.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and really, I think it's better to, when we're talking about Kentucky, is to talk about what the end result was there. And there were some interesting things that were going on with that. That was Brian Hubbard's really birthday, I guess, into this national, or what was to become a national platform. And so it was really kind of cool that we got to be there and witness that little part of history. But there was this weird political battle thing going on under the surface between the Kentucky Attorney General and the governor. And so the whole thing was like super clandestine. I think like me, Tim, and 3 other people knew what was actually about to get unveiled there at the Capitol. And so they kind of just spring this thing. They brought these Navy SEAL guys up that had, carrying the banner for this thing, and just sprung it. And that's kind of how that came out. I think there was some pearl clutching that went on. And the other commissioners that were there were all employed by a university there in Kentucky that was receiving an awful lot of funding from the Sackler family. And so once the governor's race was concluded, which the attorney general lost, that's when Mr. Hubbard was kind of let go. And that began this part of the crusade. So all of that was coordinated through General Martin Steele and Adam Marr from the Veterans Mental Health Leadership Coalition. So absent that crew, and we're very proud that we're a plank owner, in that whole group. We're one of the original members to join that. Absent that group of people working together, we wouldn't have this EO today. And that's absolutely true.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and jump on in on the EO then. I remember I was bugging you, Tim, about something last year, and you said a couple years ago, and you said I got to knock out this paper. Was this the paper you were talking about? Was this the executive order? This proposal that you were talking about? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I've had the really the pleasure over many instances to engage with the administration over the years. They went back to his first, Trump's first presidency. Got to hang out with them and do some cool stuff, and that's just kind of continued. And what we did with this executive order, there was an opportunity that we had a doorway to send Trump a draft of an executive order, right? And I spent a lot of time thinking, like, what would that be?
Right.
What could we possibly do that would make such an impact on the issue of veteran suicide right now? Right? Is it informed consent? No, that's not enough. Right? Is it fundamental change inside the VA? No, that's not enough. And then I started thinking about some of the things that Trump did in his first, presidency, and the Right to Try Act was something that he was extraordinarily proud about. And the Right to Try Act opened a lot of different things. It opened, the hemp bill, right?
Yep, it did.
We got hemp across the United States, and that wonderful thing called THCA. But there's a lot of things came from that bill. But there's a lot of things that were taken from that bill before it became actual law. And a lot of things were stripped out of that, which would have given a right to try people within that window of, I'm terminal and I want to try something to give me an opportunity to save my life or to ease the pain. Right. There's a lot of things that were stripped out of that. So I put a lot of focus on that, and I spent some time researching it, and I'm like, this is the way. Right. And with Trump, there's a certain way of presenting things. Right. And, if you present things that are advantageous, right? Then those things are going to get looked at a little bit. And so I think by leveraging on that 2018 prize piece of legislation that he had brought forward, and stacking a few other pieces into that would leverage access to psychedelics through controlled build places of excellence, if you will, that would be monitored by medical personnel, spiritual leaders, practitioners that are trained in these modalities. Expand access to the care program that gets you out in town.
Community care.
And the expansion of community care, with these places of excellence. So there's really 5 pillars that I layered into the executive order, and I had the opportunity to get that off into what it was explained to me was delivered to the president early last year. And there was a lot that was talked about in the executive order that was came from that executive order that I submitted, but which was cool to me because I heard it. I'm like, what? Get out of here!
Yeah.
This is cool as shit.
Yeah.
But like the one thing that I'm super proud about, right, is like, guys, for the first time, and this is for all the listeners out there, for the first time, we got to look at this W. For the first time ever, the government, an agent of government, has acknowledged that the suicide rate is higher than what has been reported. And I specifically go to the part where Trump had mentioned that the suicide rate within the veteran community is 21 times that of combat deaths, right? The combat deaths that we know of the last combat period was 8,000, just short of 9,000. That puts 21 times at 160,000 plus suicides.
Right.
Been talking about that at our organization for about 3 years right now, and everybody has said to us those numbers are wrong. Brown University says 30,188. That's the number. That's the number. That's the number. That's the number. Well, that's not the number. I mean, the reason why that's not the number is because not even half the states in the United States report suicide deaths, right? Because they're not required to by law. Texas is a prime example. They are not required by law to report suicide deaths here. So you have, I think it's something to the tune like 23, 24 states in the union are required. So we're only getting half of the data.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not even getting full measure of what's out there. Oh man.
Exactly. So, the numbers are grossly underreported. We have now the president of the United States that recognized that number, which is a fucking huge win. And then recognizing that, pharmaceuticals are not the way forward, and we have better emerging therapies that are on the horizon, like psilocybin that has no less than 3 designated breakthrough recognitions. You've got ibogaine, you've got ketamine. These are all at the breakthrough status, and they're stuck. They're stuck in the bureaucracy of a state that is in a quagmire and cannot move, right? And at the end of the day, the people are suffering, and the executive order, it's not law, right? We understand that these are guidances, that are given at the executive level, and they can be rescinded at any moment. But it's a fighting chance, right? It's fucking beachhead at this point, and just like fucking Iwo Jima, all we need is a beachhead, and you bring in the fucking ass, we can solve this problem. Lickety split
to the point to where now this right here commits $50 million in federal research funding and instructs the HHS, the FDA, and the VA to collaborate together on this. So to get those 3 agencies to even talk to each other is a feat in itself anyways. But this is what we've been, we've been talking for like almost 5-6 years. Through all this that we've been talking about this, and it's just I'm just surprised that there's no federal requirement to report specifically on the veteran side of the house, report the statistics on suicide. That should be a federal law. I don't give a crap. You must report it, just like if anything else. When they always say the feds are coming in when there's a local law enforcement event, name your crime or whatever, and the feds are coming in. It should be the same way. If it's a suicide and that's a veteran, you are required to, that should be the next legislation should be, you will be required to report these statistics to the feds, to those 3 organizations, so that way even the CDC, if you want to throw them in the mix too. And speaking of which, does the CDC even get involved in this?
Who are they? They lost their credibility with COVID.
Hey, now we can say that now without getting banned.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about the ban hammer anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's kind of curiosity, because you always say CDC statistics always say that things with guns and things with veterans and things with this, and you don't hear much about those types of statistics. But I would say the next push. If I was the Grand Admiral for the country, I'd say that. I'd be like, straight up, the legislation needs to happen that if you're a veteran, it's got to get mandatory reported to those agencies.
I don't see anything wrong with that, right? Because here in the state of Texas, that law to recognize suicide died. It didn't go anywhere, right?
Right.
Like what? That doesn't, like, that's an easy one,
right?
Guys, It costs some administrative time and effort, maybe a couple stamps.
A couple of stamps and a couple of types in an email to register it, and then bam. I mean, call it a roster. Now, are we going to talk about the Green Star legislation? Or are we going to wait on that? Are we going to wait on the Green Star stuff? That one conversation that we had. Am I revealing too much? Am I? So
we don't want to pile too much on too soon. I feel like this is one of those conversations we have.
Exactly. Wait a minute. Why is everything turning so weird? Anyways,
do something at once.
So we did a good question. 55 mil. Who oversees the $55 million in federal research funding? That's a good question. You guys feel free to ask questions, by the way, in the chats. We could talk away.
Well, this is largely being led by the Department of Health and Human Services. So they're going to be leading the efforts here. Driving the way on a lot of the regulation and creating the policy and the bounding boxes of what the research models are going to look like. So what I'm hoping to see is that this gives the kick in the shorts for the stalling out on the executive order of the cannabis stuff.
Gotcha.
And we start to see a lot of movement there because here's what we're going to see, right? Is that let's take the cannabis executive order, for example, right? We know that there's enough data out there that shows that cannabis and cannabinoids, cannabinols, and all those classes are great anti-inflammatory, receptors for parts of your body.
Yep.
That's going to come out in the research, and then we're going to be like, all right, let's legalize it, right? And they're going to deschedule it. Same thing is going to happen for psilocybin and some of these different classes of psychedelics. We're already seeing it with psilocybin. Some of the incredible breakthroughs that we're seeing here. Like one dose of psilocybin will increase cellular life by 50%. Like what? That's incredible. One sitting of 6 milligrams hero dose of psilocybin will reduce long-term treatment-resistant depression, 80% chance in first sitting for up to 6 months.
Yeah, and wasn't there a discussion about returning or reconnecting brain synapses and all that stuff?
That was
too?
the third breakthrough of reconnecting regeneration of gray brain cell matter and resynapsis of the brain. These are incredible breakthroughs. So, the days of like, oh man, I'm gonna eat some mushrooms and sit in my closet and not chase the fucking vacuum cleaner. Like, okay, I can still do that, but
but you'll be healing at the same time chasing the vacuum cleaner.
Right. But what we're talking about is like, let's heal some people, right? They're suffering,
right?
And people that want recreational, I have to build some regulation around that. Jesus,
right?
Like we sit here, we have these conversations, but I'm gonna go, my uncle's gonna go drink a bottle of liquor and drive himself home and talk shit about people that are smoking reefer. Like,
right, yeah, that they got paid to subsidize and advocate for. You know what I mean? Those damn weed snorters, they're a bunch of potheads and blah 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 blah. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm just saying this to the audience. There's individuals out there that use, you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah.
That if they weren't using, they'd probably have choked the fuck out of you already. If they were drinking, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that we're all violent, but I just want to, because that's the stigma. Again, going back to what I was saying, it's always the stigma. Oh, if you're involved in that, then it's going to be decriminalized. And there's everybody going to be.
Rambo shot up a town because all he wanted was a sandwich.
All he wanted was something to eat.
Guys, that's what we're up against.
And you know what? I always. Oh man, we're getting to talk about Rambo. I got in not a heated conversation, but I got in a good debate. That the movie Rambo, the First Blood movie, was the actual depiction of veteran haterade towards each other. Because
the Korean vet versus the Vietnam vet.
Yes, because that's how it is right now with the
Brian Dennehy, piece of shit.
Yeah, Brian Dennehy was Brian Dennehy he was a Korean War vet, Silver Star recipient, and now he's looking at this long-haired punk running around with a Medal of Honor. You know what I mean? Right. It's just like that right there.
Not my town.
Yeah, it's like, not my town. I don't give a fuck if you want a BLT. Get out of here. But that's like a good depiction of veteran on veteran hate that you see out there, that everyone's like, look, I don't care if you served 20 years or you've served 2 to 4 years. If you've had something to you, if you had something hurt, if the military hurt you in one way or another, you deserve just as amount of that type of healing as anybody else does. So I really just crazy to see that most of it's coming from within the veteran, not within the veteran so much veteran community, but just like the more outspoken vets, like, well, if you do that, you know, then you're gonna have to do this. You got like I said, the straight friction out there that's like, I don't want them to influence the ones that are helping us making the decision, because, you know, if you're all right, dude, if you're so badass, then maybe you need some help. Maybe you need something, and they get offended when you bring that up.
Well, you see some of those people that are the worst shit talkers out there ended up being stolen valor ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. They're, oh my God, dude. So psilocybin, MDA, ketamine. What was you said the other one was ibogaine?
Ibogaine and LSD.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Will. That woke Will up. All right, Will. What's the what? Let me
LSD. Will was like,
let me drop some more tabs. Hang on, you know.
Not a fan.
Oh, okay, not a fan. Why do you say you're why you're not a fan, Will?
Well, I mean, all my psychedelic adventures are done in a ceremonial context. It's not really that kind of modality with LSD.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. All right. And that's another thing too, is like you were talking about, Tim, you were talking about, Janae, you said about you guys are doing some sort of retreats or some get-togethers to hang out and get veterans out there. Is there anything out there we see on the socials for you to get veterans signed up on?
Yes, we actually have a couple integration retreats. We have an integration retreat. And we have a couple other events that are on our website at gruntstylefoundation.org. At the integration retreat, that's where we bring out some of the healers, and they can introduce the veterans that are there to different modalities. And then I'll let Will talk a little bit more about some of the expansion of the work we're doing, because, you know, one of the things that's really important for us to keep in mind is, yes, this EO was signed, but we're still having to take people to South America in order to get access to these modalities. And we're still going to need the support and the funding in order to be able to do that, because that doesn't make it like just snap and it's available. So we still need to be able to take them down there. And a lot of the organizations that are doing that, they have the funding. Maybe it's upward of like $10,000 to $12,000 to take them down there. They're getting that for like special forces and stuff like that. But Grunt Style Foundation, we're able to take everyone, and not saying that other organizations don't, you know, but we focus on all the veterans. And so I'll let Will talk a little bit more about those retreats that we're going to be putting on.
Yeah, sure. We've got our first one. This is our third running of it. So it's our third annual now. We did the first 2 years as pilot programs just to kind of vet the concept out. The name of the event is called Integration. We bring in just under 30 different instructors or practitioners of different modalities. We have horse equine therapy, so we have horses that come out, and we have, and it's a little like a step unusual on that too, because they're really working with the energy of the horse, I guess, if you want to put it that way, because they're so sensitive to that, so they're kind of focusing on that. So it's a little different than normal equine therapy where you're grooming and that, so it's a different experience. But everything from that all the way up to like singing bowls, cold plunges, nutrition, herbs and herbalism. We have our partners from the Lakota out on the Pine Ridge Reservation. They come out and they're teaching Lakota spirituality, cosmology, just a lot of different interesting things. We also do bring in medicine carriers from South America, shamans, if that's what you want to call them. They come and they teach, you know, this is just teaching about these different modalities with ayahuasca, with yahe, with psilocybin, with bufo. I mean, and the list goes on.
What is that?
And these
good. You want to see God?
You know, I got a little Navy in me, so I don't want to see some Aztec temples. But what is that? Bufo?
Yeah.
What is that? Bufo?
Bufo. It's a 5-MeO DMT. It comes from the Colorado bufo toad. So you catch its secretions and you smoke it, and it's a 5-MeO DMT journey that lasts about 15 minutes or so. This is what they're using after the ibogaine. when the guys are going down to Mexico for the ibogaine treatment.
Right.
The ibogaine's really for resetting of these opioid receptors and general is what psychedelics do, all in their own way. And then bufo is served usually the following day. And that provides this very intense mystical experience of unity of source with God. Like Tim said, you want to go meet God. That's kind of what the intention of that one is. So we bring in these practitioners and they teach all of these things. And the cool part is you get to pick your own curriculum. So you have 2 blocks of instruction in the morning, you have 2 in the afternoon, and you get to pick like a buffet line from those 30 instructors of which classes you would like to take, limited by when. And sometimes there's overlap and you just can't hit them all. Come back next year. Then in the evening hours, and we also have wonderful food there. We bring in a Champion Barbecue, a smoking team out of Memphis. And so it's a good time with that part as well. But then in the evening hours, we have ceremony. And we have the Lakota will run the Inipi ceremony, which is the sweat lodge. We have a full legitimate sweat lodge there that the Lakota run and facilitate that several rounds. We did several other Lakota ceremonies last year that they led us through. Then we have singing bowl ceremony. It's more experiential in the evenings. And one of the highlight ones is always breath work, which can be deeply traumatic, trauma releasing. And then we have a little more in the unusual. It's about as edgy as we get, but we usually do a cannabis and hape ceremony. And hape is a South American snuff.
Yeah,
that you both know. There you go.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. Incredible. Hey guys, while we're talking, while these guys we got the team and everybody and me dropping links as we're speaking, so it doesn't matter on both platforms, on Facebook and YouTube, and of course on X. Everything that we're discussing is being dropped links, so that way you guys can do it. Understand that Facebook though deletes our Facebook lives after 30 days because Zuck being Zuck. However, in the YouTube pages and on X, you guys will be able to get these links up. So, with that, let me see. I just want to double check. Blah blah blah. Who else? Oh, the VA. How's been the VA? I've not seen. I've seen the VFW. I've seen the president signed it, and I've seen Joe Rogan and the crew of guys behind him and all that. But what is the VA? Is the VA like being skeptical about it? They're quiet about it. Are they just we'll let you guys run it? What's their sentiment on all this?
Well, I think the VA is quite favorable to it. We've seen several of our friends, having good conversations with Doug Collins about psychedelics. One being Wiz
Buckley.
Wiz Buckley. He was up there over the weekend and was part of the ceremony with the president. And he's been up to speak with the secretary several times in regards to psychedelics, most specifically psilocybin, which I think has the greatest opportunity, of reaching, far more people, right? And when we talk about these classes of medications, because, when we talk about them, here's the thing, and the best way of thinking about it is the way I don't know, this is the way I think about it is, psilocybin is a great heart medicine. It opens you up to emotions. Ayahuasca and class medicines around that class are really good for inner work. Really that self-reflection stuff, getting deep down into the psyche of what makes Tim work, right? And then Bufo is like you're reigniting your spirituality, because I can give two fucking shits what your beliefs are. The minute you sit down with Bufo, you're going to meet God and you're going to have a changed experience, and it's over. It's done at that point, and you cannot change your life. You cannot change. You cannot go back. Right? It is now the way it is, and that's the way that it will always be. And for some people, it's fantastic. I think that the way that you are addressing these things are, again, is like, what is it that you need? Do you need to reconnect with a bit of emotion and open up your heart because you're cutting yourself off from the world and you're reclusing inside of yourself? Well, maybe that's mushrooms, right? Do you need to get into some serious trauma work of like, I haven't let go of the death of my comrade in Iraq or Afghanistan. I'm going to go sit with ayahuasca, right? And if I have a complete broken spirituality, then I'm going to sit obviously with Bufo. But each one of these classes has its own thing. Ibogaine is great for addiction-based, circumstances, or deep trauma, treatment-resistant depression. So it's really, it's not something you just want to jump in. Oh, I'm depressed. I'm going to go hook me up, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
About 22 hours.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's not.
Yeah, exactly. Is there some mandatory reporting? Because I know in some cases, some veterans have had trauma happen to them in the past that they don't want it to be like broadcasted out. There's also, like, for instance, somebody just said, what about many veterans who are not in the VA system? And I think it's because a lot of veterans, they want to heal, but don't want to make they don't want to make a big deal about it. They just want to heal them themselves. And I understand some organizations like law enforcement, military, if you report something that happens, you're a mandatory report, and you have to like investigate. You have to. Is there I would say patient client confidentiality in all this as well?
Well, the current way that these modalities are dealt with in these ceremonial contexts, whatever it is that you're bringing into that ceremony is usually extremely private and remains private. You don't share your problems with the witch doctor. It's not that. Most people will share as the weekend goes closer, because that's one of the fascinating things about these types of experiences. By the time these retreats are over, the people that are participating are generally more closely bonded than what a lot of military units going through a deployment together are in some ways. And that's not always the case, but I think it's a safe analogy. But you're not having to share what you don't want to share. A lot of people are sharing because it's how they're integrating the experience. And that is where the actual healing with these modalities comes from. It has nothing to do with the magic that's in the modality of the tea, or if it's a mushroom.
Right.
The visions are a message. And what I firmly am persuaded is that these plants have intelligence about them to some degree that's very difficult to explain, but you are definitely working with something more than just drinking a tea. This isn't drinking chamomile. These experiences are generally very profound and often mystical. So that you're seeing things, it's kind of like you're shifting your perception on your issue. If it's grief, if it's loss, if it's whatever it may be, something you're ashamed of or regretful of. All these things have been eluding you for your life, and it's like they're right here in front of your face, and no matter what you do, you can't get around those. And that's because our nature is to try to protect ourselves from feeling these feelings that cause us these problems. And what these psychedelics are doing is it's allowing you to get around those barriers to actually get a different perspective. You'll get that face out of that hand out of your face. You can see the problem for real for the first time, oftentimes, at least in a way that's outside of our own bullshit filter, to keep us from feeling the feels.
Right.
And once you have that level of exposure to what's actually going on internally, you can't unsee it. And there's no lie that you're telling yourself in that moment that's going to lessen it. So when the visions fade, the ceremony is over, that's when the real work begins, because now that you have seen the truth, you're pretty much going to have to live with that truth, or you're going to have to live in a lie. And this time, if you're living that lie, you're damn well aware that you're living that lie.
Right.
Whereas if you can just take that lesson of what was shown to you and then integrate those lessons, and often it's just as simple as letting something be, just let it be still. Or sometimes it's just lead with love, love yourself. And that's kind of the takeaway. But it's amazing how many things that just those simple little words that I was just talking about, the impact that it can have on people's lives. And it's incredibly profound. And so where I think the politicians are at this point, when you're asking about how's Doug Collins feel about this, these senior level folks, everybody's in the know at this point. This is not like we still have to go and reach people to try to explain. it's almost damn near on a parallel with the aliens kind of stuff, like, if we acknowledge this, what do we do with religion? What do we do with all these other things?
Exactly. What if the aliens are the ones that are providing us this assistance and we don't even know it,
We're getting guys that are saying that they're getting kicked out of DMT land because they're going too many times.
Wow. Oh man. Okay. So we got the executive order knocked out. This is a great way ahead. There's also hey, some of the stuff here. Okay, we'll make an announcement. U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio and the Grunt Style Foundation are joining forces. You will see us in Nashville, Tennessee. So that way, we are doing a benefit concert. Well, we are joining together to support a benefit concert. We're not doing it. The individuals that are singing are going to be doing it. Savannah Ray and more. We will be in Nashville on the 25th of May. What is it? It's at the Nashville Palace, right? It's going to be at the Nashville Palace. So this is we've been kind of like waiting for a moment, and this is the moment to go ahead and start talking about it now. This is a Memorial Day benefit concert. It's going to be on the 25th of May. As a matter of fact, well, shit. Let me just do this. If you guys want to check out the tickets, we've been dropping the links of everything else, but if you guys want to see get yourself some tickets, I'm dropping them in the links as well. So that way you guys can check them out. And you never know, there might be some giveaways or something like that in this to support. This was Tim's idea, not mine. So you could say, Tim, you said something about VIP tickets. You said something about, meeting and greeting people. Janae, Will, Tim, what's going on at this event? Talk to us.
So on May 25th, Velvet Rodeo, who wrote a song about HBOT, hyperbaric chamber, or hyperbaric oxygen treatment, they are going to be doing a benefit concert in support of the work that Grunt Style Foundation is doing, all that you've heard here tonight and more. We are bringing together various performers, and then with WTF Nation, Four Branches Bourbon, Grunt Style Foundation, and Upstage Party Bus, we're going to have a VIP Sip to Remember lounge where those VIP guests can come. They can go live stream with WTF Nation. They can go on to the Upstage Party Bus, which is actually dedicated to Tim's friend who he mentioned earlier, Paul Kludak. So they can go on that party bus, meet the band members, meet the influencers that are going to come out. We have some incredible influencers. One of my favorite is up and coming After the Uniform. He does really great content. He's been speaking on these issues very well. So they can meet all of them and just spend time with them and get to know them. Ranch and Rifle is going to be doing small bites. It's going to be amazing in Nashville. I mean, this is just, it started out as a benefit concert, and all of our community partners, like you guys as well, are jumping in and saying, hey, we want to be part of this. And as we all continue to talk and conceptualize, it just becomes bigger and bigger. We do have a limited number of VIP tickets, and this specific Sip to Remember is going to be for those VIP guests. So I would say grab those immediately if you want to be able to get on that party bus and meet some of those members. But it's going to be great. Tim, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. It's going to be, we got some auction items, some great jerseys, Tillman jersey. Trying to get Chuck Norris. Who knew that Chuck Norris was going to die right before?
Right, dude. Oh my God, man.
To the roof.
I hope you fucking. Yeah, I'm about to say.
Nobody would buy Chuck Norris shit like a year ago. Now it's worth like $20,000-$30,000.
Right. Exactly, man. Oh, it's so fun. See, now you got me all butthurt. But yeah, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we got some great auction items. Ozzy Osbourne, a signed guitar by Ozzy Osbourne. That's gonna be cool. Four Branches Bourbon will be doing the Four Toast Salute with Four Branches and an auction bottle there. It's just really cool. I mean, just really great opportunity of everybody coming together, really, and to focus on hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy, alternative treatments, from the psychedelics to the, just getting away from polypharma and pharmaceuticals. So that's really what it comes down to, my friends. We'll have maybe a couple politicians. We got a really special guest that we're not going to talk about till later in the month of May.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But a lot to talk about there. But it's going to be a great event, and if you're in the Nashville area, come join us. You have a great time. Get tickets online now, $35, $50 at the door. We don't want to, you don't want to pay $50 there. So get your tickets now.
Right.
And if you don't, you're going to have major FOMO.
Major FOMO. Is that like looks maxing or something like that, or what's
Yeah,
cortisol
looks
spike? Cortisol
We're
spike.
benefit maxing.
Yeah, exactly. We're benefit maxing. Yeah, exactly that. Grunt Style Foundation. We're like I said, we're excited. So look forward to more propaganda coming out with U.S. Army WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio, and the Grunt Style Foundation. We're pumped up. We will be on site with them, walking around, doing the things as well. And we're pumped up with that. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of some of our faces. Somebody had a question. I wish you guys would do something more in Texas.
Well, it just so happens that we are trying to get a integration event down for around the San Antonio area, and we're looking to try to do that around December or maybe into the first part of 2027.
There we go.
But it's not like the sun here.
Yeah, I'm about to say that one event that we did. I'm like, holy crap! When we did that stuff in what was it? What was it? We were roasting along the Riverwalk. Holy crap!
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, man! That was.
Yeah, back.
It was. Hey, man. Sometimes memories are made in the suck, not in the office. So that's my biggest thing. Let me pull up the calendar right quick so you guys can see what we got going on here. Let's see. So we can talk about. Okay, so you guys know we got the benefit concert coming up. We also have the integration. Ooh, whoa! What's this? Culver's River State Park, Missouri. Oh, hell yeah. We got the War Cry for Change, of course. We also have the Ozark River I've not done that in a while. Silky's Hikes, of course, in all 50 states. And, of course, GSF deployments in San Antonio. So let's see.
There's one more. We have a benefit dinner up in Missouri on May 31st. So that's also, it'll be up on the site shortly.
Okay.
Here, one of the things I wanted to talk about. Let's get to the.
All right, let's do it. All right, there we go.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, Ken, is that Will and I have been talking about doing a Halloween event, and we think that you would be the best person to broadcast this event, where we lock ourselves up at the Limp Mansion, which is one of the most haunted places in all of America.
I'm about to say I've heard of the place. Go on.
Okay. And throughout that, we, Will and I have some experiences with the ethereal and the ghostly or the ghastly, if they say, or what they say. So there'd be a lot of activities that we would want to do. We bring a small group of people together where you have to pick an activity from a bowl and then have to go somewhere in the house, maybe do a seance or a reading, something, and you're interacting with trying to get these ghosts to come to life, right? And there might be an opportunity that we're all eating mushrooms while we're doing this. But, I don't know. We have to check the legal stuff.
I was about to say, I don't know. I mean, I might end up partying with them motherfuckers. I'm about to say, you might. Anybody see Ken? And I'm floating.
Why is Ken licking the floor?
Yeah, why is he licking the floor? And why is he levitating above the staircase? What the hell's going on here? So that's definitely for our future meeting, man. But yeah. So don't forget, guys, the universe.
Look, people are already commenting saying I'd be in on that. It looks like we've got some takers.
We got some takers. Yeah.
Great way to pitch the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
You're now committed. Once you put it onto the universe, you're committed. So
everyone wants to lick the floor with Grunt Style and WD Bubba's.
You got to do a poll. Can you do a poll so that people can vote if they're coming or not?
I haven't even dropped the whole plan yet, and the people
are already responding. Yeah, everyone's like, I'd be in on that. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's willing to jump on in this. Don't forget to get them tickets. Like I said, keep your head on a swivel, because we're going to be dropping some links, some possible giveaways, and whatever. Because the ghost won't be the only thing floating. Yeah, exactly that, man. I won't be. Oh man, you guys are going to tip. Anyways, I'm like being distracted here.
This is already a preview of what to expect in Nashville. This is just the weirdos you're be hanging out with.
It's pretty weird, man. It's pretty weird. Tim, could you fill everybody in too on our opportunity to go out with us to the Pine Ridge Reservation for the Sundance?
Oh, well, yes. So over the years, we've met some just incredibly unique and interesting people. mostly due to Will and I's sense of adventure. There was a moment several years ago that we had felt the need that we just needed to load up a U-Haul full of clothes and drive up to the Pine Ridge Reservation up in South Dakota, home of the Lakota Indians, and several other tribes that make up the bands of Indians in that area. And what we ended up stumbling into was a Sundance that was put together by a dear friend of ours that has grown to become a relative of ours. And he is the medicine man within his family of people up there. And he had put together the first Sundance and was like put this call out to like I'm calling out to all the warriors, and somehow we showed up. I don't know, with a U-Haul full of Grunt Style t-shirts for people.
And a Ukrainian warlord.
And a Ukrainian warlord. That's
wow.
a whole other story.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know the guy. You know him. That's a name for another time.
I'm about to say, yeah. There's two I think it was, yeah.
Yes. So we spend a week up there, and and it was just like, seriously, like if you read any of the books, it was like working like back in the 1500s, right? They sent an emissary over to us to start talking, and I was the leader of all the the Grunt Style people. So they're like, "You're the leader. We're only going to talk to you." I'm like, okay. So like they'd say one thing and I'd respond, and they would go back and they'd talk amongst themselves, and they'd come back to us and like, okay, this is what we're going to do, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, and I have to go back to my group of people and talk about.
It's like the PSYOP qualification course when you're doing
Yes,
your makeup, man.
It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And like a whole bunch of weed was being passed back and forth. I was offering weed and tobacco, right? And,
of course.
And the next thing you know, we're like, big, we're communing together. We're participating as a Kichita, which is Lakota for warrior, and tending the sacred fire, which warms the grandfather stones of the Inepi, of the sweat lodge, which prepares the dancers to get into the dance circle, where they dance for hours, in sending their prayers for their tribes up to the gods, or Wankanyan. So it's quite the amazing experience, very spiritual. And this is our 4th year, so we've been going up there for 3 years.
Okay.
And we've been bringing veterans with us every year, and making that adventure larger. This year we'll be setting up our very first teepee, a Grunt Style Foundation teepee amongst our family and relatives up on the reservation, and with the intent of bringing more veterans and participating in Sundance.
That's awesome.
So it's super cool, man. Like, again, part of life is experiencing different things, different cultures, different
of course,
and the way that people pray, and spirituality. The experiences that I had with the Lakota have been unbelievable. The way that they practice their spirituality, the simplicity of it all is what strikes me more than anything. And it's just been a pleasure to be around it. I've been collecting my own little gifts of things that has helped me along my own spiritual path, to make me a better person, and I have them to really thank for a lot of that along my own journey.
Yeah, man. Oh man, my mind is wandering now. You had me sold on the Halloween shit too. So, oh man, it's like, now this is not gonna be recorded, right? Like, we're not gonna be watching Ken levitate.
We definitely want to document this one.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, you ever watched the movie like The Fourth Kind, where the aliens are intermixing with the humans in Alaska somewhere, and they're like talking Sumerian and shit? I know what I'm about to say.
I'm thinking more like Dollhouse, the horror movie.
Yeah, exactly, or Insidious, man. Oh God, here we go. Guys, thank you guys so much once again, Will, Tim, and of course Janae. for hanging out. You guys are always welcome, and of course, we're going to be throwing out more propaganda for the get together in the end of, or for May 25th, the benefit concert. Guys, look out for giveaways, possibly. Look out for tickets, possibly. Look out for more interviews, possibly. Look for maybe some other guests that will be going over there at the concert, possibly. Hey man, it's just great. Check out all the links that we posted in the comments, and of course. Somebody said, I would love to speak to somebody from the Grunt Style Foundation about involving motorcycle groups to the mission. Oh, wow. Okay. Hit up the link right there that we posted up for the Grunt Style Foundations, and I think you guys still have the contact stuff, right? Contact right there, and then hit it, get in touch. Make sure you put your name, your email, and the subject, question from the WTF Nation podcast, blah, 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 and your message, and the crew. The crew's pretty responsive. I mean, trust me, if they don't respond, they'll bug you. So
we publish all nudies.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Dude, I don't
Then
even.
there's Will.
About the Will. Why I see Will in a thong? What's up with this? You know.
Got my OnlyFans, man.
I'm about to say, bro. I'm about to say. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and cut it, but we're also gonna put you guys on a break, and we're just gonna end the show right now, and then so that way, me and the crew can catch up on some stuff. But thank you guys again so much for coming out.
My pleasure. Thanks, Ken. You've been a hell of a friend, and thank you for supporting us.
Always, brother. Always, man. Come on. That's what we're here for. So you guys hang out for a sec. All right, guys. Have a good one. Shot. See you.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Knowing that I
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Я батько. Я молодший брат.
Я водій маршрутки. Я скоро одружуся. Я фанат шахтера.
Начальник отдела продаж.
Я прораб.
Я программист.
Я свидетель на свадьбе.
Борщица.
Дядя Юра, таксист. Я вчитель фізкультури.
Я студент-геолог.
У мене своя фірма. Я кращий друг зі школи. Я сусід, який завжди стукає по батареї.
Я єдиний син.